proper. Let's just keep it proper. Okay. So, for everyone who is here, welcome back to Coffee with Yvonne, a show for creatives and entrepreneurs. And we're going to do a little off-script-ish today because I have my good sis with me, Bianca Perez, a.k.a. the makeup artist killer, a.k.a. the educated one, a.k.a. my good sis for, it's been, 20 years, B? Has it been 20 years?
As longer than that show has been on the air, honey. It's been a long time, okay? 20 plus years.
We're going to be talking about, as you know, the Netflix Top Model documentary. Now, to give us some context, and if you hear also, too, the sound of a dog in the background, Saint, come on, Saint, say hi to the people real quick. My dog, Saint, decided to pop in while I was about to start recording so he can hang out with us. But we're going to be talking about the Top Model documentary that is now on Netflix and giving a bit of our experience of being those who worked in the fashion industry, Bianca on the makeup side, and then me on the marketing and PR side. So grab your coffee and let's chat. Cheers! Okay. So I had to give my good sis Bianca her flowers first. Bianca, as I mentioned before, is a professional makeup artist and beauty content creator with over 20 years experience in the industry. She has worked with leading global brands including Chanel, MAC Cosmetics, Lancôme, Urban Decay, and Pat McGrath Labs, bringing her expertise across luxury, editorial, and consumer beauty spaces. Known for her honest and educational product reviews, Bianca shares insights on formulas, application techniques, and how to make both affordable and high-end products truly perform. Not only beyond beauty, she creates mission-driven events in partnership with local nonprofits, blending creativity, strategy, and community impact in everything she does. And with that being said, welcome to Coffee with Yvonne,
Bianca! Thank you. I'm listening to you like, who is that, me? Oh,
that's
thanks,
you.
sis. Thank you, sis.
And that's
you
the short version.
Good
That's the
bio.
short version. Thank you. And also, y'all, to give y'all background too, Bianca is one of the only people who has ever touched this face.
Okay.
When I tell you what the
Yvonne is not very trusting, y'all. Period.
Okay, when she gives you a compliment on your makeup, you feel like you walking on tens. I'm like, oh my goodness, thank you. I look good today.
You are funny.
I look good today.
Girl, you're natural beauty. You don't even need no makeup. Get out of here.
But see, Bianca, but you did tell me, you and also Leanne, shout out Boss Lady, one of my first bosses in the industry, told me that skincare was at base importance. So if the skincare ain't right, the beauty will not sit correctly. So I always make sure the skincare game was right first. So even if
girl,
it's
come
basic,
on, you know black don't cry. Girl, you're beautiful. Get out of here. Been beautiful. Been that girl. Will always be that girl since I met her in her Kango hat in high school. Okay, it's always gonna give that.
Oh my god! Why did you bring up the Kango hat?
Been that girl. Oh, I was gonna bring it up at some point in time in this show, honey. Because you know what, the first thing I did when we talked about America's Next Top Model was, what year did it come out and where were we? We were in high school. We were in high school when the first season aired. I was a sophomore and you were a junior. So my mind instantly went to, what was I wearing? And, you know, what was that time given and what we, you know. So, yeah, the Kango hat popped up quick because you had it in every color too, girl.
I surely did.
It was fly at the time, honey. Couldn't tell you nothing.
But couldn't tell us nothing because I had a Kango cap, then I had my beauty supply, and these are actually beauty supply 2B. I had my beauty supply earrings on. It was like a rhinestone hoop. I had my LVLX, fake Adidas, like little tracksuit look going on, and my K-Swiss, because who could afford Adidas? I had K-Swiss. I had a little K-Swiss, and I had my little BB red and white bag. Couldn't tell me nothing.
And you know whatever color it was, you had to have the matching belt. And like a juicy couture purse or something. Yes.
Sure did.
Oh, honey, times have changed.
And also, too, when I was 16, I got my first designer purse. I got a Dooney and Burke purse, a little bubble. I feel like I remember that purse. Because, girl, as soon as I got it, because first day of school, I carried that purse. What you talking about?
And every day after. And every day after.
Like, do you not see? You see the Dooney and Burke? All these hoes.
Girl, yes, Dooney. Come on, Dooney.
But you know what? too, considering like fashion and beauty were so like integral to when we were in high school. What did you imagine be that the fashion and beauty world would be like versus when we got into it? Like, what did you think in your head from shows like Top Model? What your experience would be like in that space?
Well, Top Model came out before social media. So at that time, you saw nothing but whatever was on TV and whatever was in magazines. So I never thought I would see the day where like plus size was inclusive and brands would actually recognize people that look like the everyday person and not a stick figure model, right? You see my curly
Mm-hmm.
hair, like growing up, I always just saw straight hair. Like I remember I got my first flat iron and I was straightening that hair. It was just very European style, standards of beauty. And I, as a teenage girl, was susceptible to that, right? Like I wanted to work
Mm-hmm.
out. I remember like all the weight loss fads and like trying to get skinny and going to shop at certain stores and like what is it, Forever 21 or Aeropostale and
Mm-hmm.
Abercrombie and like not fitting their clothing. And between my hair, my skin, my size, my curves, like I never thought we would see the day, and we still have a long way to go, but I never thought I would see the
Mm-hmm.
day where there would be like plus size models or curly haired models or models that didn't have perfect teeth or perfect skin. And it's exciting to see like they embrace more realistic standards of beauty nowadays.
Yeah, and it's like, especially with shows like Top Model, like you said, we were in high school when that came out, and I remember that was must see TV because you had Top Model, and we also forget Project Runway was on at
Mhm.
the time too. So there was a shift happening within those industries of people wanting to be more accepted. You know, people with real talent wanting to be part of these industries, but at the same time, like you said in magazines, it was like be as thin as you need to be. Like
Yeah.
stars like Aaliyah, Britney Spears,
Yeah.
Christina, a lot of like the girly pop stars were very, very thin. You
Yeah.
know, you didn't
No
see
problem.
someone who was above a size 6.
Yeah.
And us being in high school, I remember being feeling so overweight, and I was a size 8, I think, at the time,
I
like
was
a
a
size
6
8 or something like that.
and I still felt like Sasquatch. Yes.
Yes, and it's like I look back at the pictures like, girl, you were not overweight. But considering what we saw in the stores, there were like no real clothes that really fit us
None.
comfortably because everything was low rise jeans, it was crop tops, and this and the other. And if you didn't have that perfect body type, you didn't fit that image of beauty at the time. So
Yeah.
you were right too about the whole straightening thing with the hair. Like I got my Dominican blowout every weekend. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was in the Dominican salon every weekend getting that blowout with that high
Yeah.
heat up against my scalp to get them curls like pressed out perfectly, not knowing that I was also causing damage to my hair by putting high
Yeah.
heat to it
My hair was
all
so
the
damaged.
time.
Yes.
It was so damaged,
And
right?
then do you remember when Alicia Keys came out? After that, and my hair was
Yes.
destroyed. I just kept my hair in cornrows for. I don't know if you remember my cornrow phase, but I just
I
kept my
remember your
hair
cornrow era.
braided because I destroyed my hair with a flat iron. Like I just had to like keep chopping it off, and then I just started getting braids, braids, braids. After I saw Alicia Keys with braids,
Hmm.
braids, braids, braids. Every week I had braids.
The crazy thing is though, B, when we remember in Top Model when they had the makeover part and you would see girls get their hair made over, and when you see
Yeah,
like black and Latina girls, I would get so frustrated when I wouldn't see them have proper hairstylists to do their hair. Like
correct.
they were putting like these wigs and weaves in there, but not knowing that they were creating tension or pulling at their scalp or not giving like proper treatments. And it was also upsetting too, now that we see the documentary, that people like Tyra could have done more
Yeah,
to,
didn't step in
even
at
though she
all.
wanted to advocate, right, even though she wanted to advocate in a space with Top Model. No, I
Yes,
see you
she
making a
pissed me
face. Go
off.
ahead, say your
Because Tyra
piece.
pissed me
Say your
off. First,
piece.
she just when you watch the show, like she was so vocal about like every little detail that went into this. And she was an executive producer. Like, I don't know if that was a vanity title, but she was an executive producer. But even when you watch like the documentary, you see her kind of putting blame on production, even though sis, you're a part of production. You're a black woman. You
Right.
speak about being a black woman. You speak about your struggles. And then you bring all these women of different backgrounds in and like completely destroy them and pick apart the way that they look naturally. Which a makeover, I'm here for a
Mm-hmm.
makeover. Like I'm a makeup artist. There's a lot of things that you can do that are not permanent, right? For the sake of like work
Right.
and a photo shoot. Or even like I would cut my if I was a model and they were like, we need to cut half of your head. Like my hair will grow back, right? No big deal. But give
Right.
me someone that knows what they're doing. Like, what was Ebony? Ebony from New York. She was
Yes.
already
Yes.
low cut, but then they wanted to cut her again, and they made her hair like basically she was bald. But she was like, "How
Yes.
do you fuck up a Caesar?" But then when you see like three hairdressers like just floating over her, they're all white women. They're laughing at
Mm-hmm.
her, but girl, it's not my fault that you're not trained to do different type of hair. So that was frustrating because I'm like, that was the simplest thing, and y'all fucked that up.
Like you said, they messed up her whole Caesar cut. You couldn't bring like a professional master barber in there just to do her hair properly. You couldn't do that. You couldn't see that that was traumatizing for her as a black
Yeah,
woman. And then instead of addressing it, they painted her in an aggressive tone
they
on the
did.
show. Like
They did.
Tyra didn't address the personal struggle that may have come as a black woman. She addressed her being. She said she was ashy or something like that.
She called her
On camera.
ashy. Oh my god.
Yeah, of all things. Like, so I'm sitting here with three bald patches, but you want to talk to me on the side because now I'm ashy, and then y'all
Yeah,
want to make
that
me
was
aggressive?
disrespectful. That was next to the girl. There was a lot of things there that was so wrong.
Like what?
Like they talk about hair, they didn't talk about hair until after the fact. They didn't talk about blackface until after the fact. And even some of the white women like that were crying or carrying on because the way that they expressed their frustration or their distaste for the hair that was like being like some of them got cornrows, some of them talk about how they got braids and extensions put out, and because the tension from the braid, it wasn't for their hair texture, like they were left with like thinning hair and bald spots and all that. But even some of them that complained on camera, I don't think they were made out to be as angry as Ebony was or as like difficult
Mm-hmm.
as Ebony was. And then she was
Mm-hmm.
told she was ashy. She started putting lotion and oil on. And then you have the girls like bullying her, telling her, like, oh, when you open the door after your lotion, can you wipe the door off like you're leaving, grease everywhere? Like, I could see on her face how she wanted to explode. And baby, if they would have had me on there, it would have been a show. Because the way I would have went, no, I would have went off. Okay.
You're right though, because it's like these producers knew what they were doing. Like they tried to paint it as it was a documentary or top model, but we all knew what it was. It was a
Yes.
reality show.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about it though, from the beauty side of it, so Mr. J, which I was a fan of Mr. J when the show was on, but Mr. J as a creative director, Bianca, you directed a lot of shoots and
Mm-hmm.
stuff on the beauty side. What are your thoughts about Mr. J and his role in all this?
Growing up and watching that show, I did not realize that he was a makeup artist, but I'm so glad that like he was in the role that he was. I think it was pivotal. And even as a makeup artist now who has worked on like endless sets, yeah, like I'm there
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in the background and I'm like, no, not that. That looks bad. Or no, yes, this looks good. Like I don't think people realize like how much like beauty and makeup play a role in like the creative process, but also you're present. So you see microaggressions and you're aware of different things. He talked about being from Africa, his family being from Africa, and it's like you're very aware, and so you had a voice. I feel like they
Mm-hmm.
slowly stripped away his voice and the autonomy that he had. But yeah, even in the beginning some of the stuff was like, and both Jays I feel like have not been getting the backlash like Tyra has, but they were like
Mm-hmm.
mean boys. Like they everything that Tyra said before they had a falling out, he said how close they were. And it's like anything she said, they backed her up. Like if they were talking about somebody's weight or the girl with the gap in her teeth or certain things, like they would like I think they were more forthcoming about like the fact that they were wrong in the things that they owned it, where Tyra did not.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
they were just as bad as Tyra. I think they
Yeah,
were.
and that's the thing too. I think when you look at the show, that's why I say like, Tyra may be the villain that's on display right now, but there are multiple villains in this situation. It's Tyra, it's the Jays, it's Nigel and his fine self, and it's also
Hmm.
that those executives, like, those who are behind the scenes. Because while you worked on the beauty side, like, more so like the shoots and stuff like that, I was more the behind the scenes person who was
Yeah.
working behind the scenes on like the runway shows and X, Y, and Z. And I heard a lot of stuff that was going on. I saw the decisions that were being made, telling girls that they were too fat, they were too this, they weren't the right look or feel. And it's just that you start to see where the people you think are in charge are never really the ones who are moving the chess pieces. It's the
Right.
executives.
It is.
They're always the ones who have the final say. And unfortunately for Tyra, why it may have said EP on, the show credits, she really didn't have creative
Yeah.
control. she moved based on what they told her to do.
Yeah.
And I empathize a little bit on that part, but I do wish she should have risked it a little bit more and saying, okay, if you guys want to have this much control, she could have pulled a Heidi and a Tim, in which they left Project Runway completely and started their own show on Amazon because they weren't happy with the direction that the show was
Yeah.
going. You can pull rank if you feel that you have that much power in what you do, because while she created Top Model, if you're that good, you can create another iteration of it and be just as successful.
Yeah.
But she chose to stay within that space and create the chaos.
I feel like she also fell into the trap of like, how do we challenge this? How do we make it better? How do we elevate it, but in the wrong kind of way? I do initially she wanted to do something and she wanted to shake up the industry, and she did. Like, let's not give her flowers for that. Of continuing to like try to change these narratives, you fell prey to networks and numbers, and you're missing the bigger picture and the mission that you set out to achieve. And now you're doing all
Mm-hmm.
these crazy wacky things instead of sticking to your guns. And if you compare the two shows, like post show, Project Runway does an amazing job of getting those people's names out there, like
Yes, they
allowing them to
do.
actually have careers, make money. Versus like this show, they made it very clear, like, you run you win, I'm sorry, America's
Top
Next Top
Model.
Model, but yeah, you're never
Mm-hmm.
a model. You don't really get, there's only like a few, there's what, 24 seasons. Out of all the winners, there's maybe like two or three of them whose names really went somewhere and you really saw them do like work in the industry. Everyone
Right.
else, it was like they just disappeared.
And unfortunately, it was also revealed in the documentary that what was her name, Danielle or Danny? She
Mm-hmm.
was the one who had the gap. Which,
Mm-hmm.
hindsight, there was nothing wrong with that gap. They did not need to close it.
She's
But
beautiful girl.
Danny, Tyra threatened her placement on the show because she didn't want to close the gap. And then even after Danny won, Danny, who came up during the time of Chanel Iman, said that she wasn't able to find work because they didn't think she was marketable enough
Yeah.
because she came from this reality show.
Yeah.
So now you have this huge title that you won. You got the
Mm-hmm.
$100,000, but you're not doing anything with all this
Nothing.
natural talent that you have because the fashion industry still will not accept you
Yeah.
because of how you got into the industry. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like a catch-22,
Mm-hmm.
because she also mentioned that Tyra could have helped her, and Tyra
Yeah.
acknowledged she could have helped her. It did not. So
15 years
which one
later.
is it? Right. Which one is it? Do you want to help move the needle forward in the industry, or do you want to still help with uphold the status quo at the
Right.
same time?
Yeah. Because, like I said, she was more concerned about ratings and numbers than she was about impact. If she was concerned about
Right.
impact, there should have been post show stuff. Like, she should have been on tour with the person that won, making sure that they had spreads, making sure that they had a work and could continue their career in the fashion industry. And she did not. Like, it was like, you won, here's your prize, goodbye. And then the person is
Mm-hmm.
blacklisted and no one really wants to work with them. And it's just, the girl is so talented. Like, she would have ate up anything that you put in front of her, and now like she's kind of blackballed a little bit, and it sucks.
And the thing that sucks too is like we saw the talent that was being evolved from these shows firsthand. Like, I'll never forget the day Takara came onto my screen,
That's my
and
girl.
they
Oh,
made
I love
Takara
Takara.
seem like, I just, oh, she was just fabulous in the way that she was built, her walk, her everything. And they made that girl seem like she was everything but a child of God on the show in terms of her size. And when you look back at it, she was maybe a size 8, maybe.
She was
And they
stunning.
made her seem like she was huge and she wasn't like built well for the
Yeah,
industry. But
yeah,
even her seeing it, Takara has become successful beyond the show.
way beyond.
She didn't need a top model to be successful,
But
but
Takara
then you
didn't
have people,
compromise.
because Sakara didn't compromise. So let's
Mhm,
talk about that more. In the
mhm,
fashion and beauty industry, when do you not compromise? When do you stand firmly on your principles? Like, can you know
mhm.
a moment that you yourself were like, I'm not going to move on this. I'm going to stand 10 toes down. So do you have a moment that you can reflect on for that?
Are we talking? Are we putting names and brands out here? Like, that's
It's
what was
up to
my
you.
hesitation.
It's up
Being a makeup artist is like so competitive nowadays. I've been doing makeup for over 20 years. You're in the room, whether you're involved in creative direction or just literally putting somebody's lipstick on, and you hear everything, you see everything. Working with so many different brands, I can genuinely say there was brands that were more in the luxury space that I've worked with that wanted me to change the way that I look. Like, hey, your hair, like you need to do something with your hair. I'm like, this is the hair God gave me. Like, and I'm the number one salesperson. So it's like, you want me to change, you want me to fit into your brand's aesthetics because I don't look a certain way, but you won't just flat out fire me or tell me something because you know that I bring in money.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me really question things, look at the things around me. Because when you're not only are you trying to make a name for yourself, get clients or whatever, like you're so excited to work with these big brands, you're younger, you're questioning your skill, you're trying to find these, you feel insecure, you know, you're being compared to everybody around you. It's like a rat race, it's catty. So I can genuinely say, like, after years in, when you kind of build that confidence and know who you are, what you stand on, you're like, I'm not changing my hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like telling me you need to straighten your hair. You need to brush that back into this. You need to lose 10 pounds. Like, no, I'm not compromising on
Mm-hmm.
who I am. And I think that's Takara. Like, you see her and they paint her out to be like an angry brown woman, but she's like, you don't have anything in my size. You don't da da da. And it's like, she was right because she's not a working model yet. She's in a competition and you're not giving her clothes that fit her. Like, how is this fair? You're setting her up for failure. You're putting her at a disadvantage. If you're not going to cater to her size and be inclusive, then just don't include plus size women because you're going to set them up to fail and it's going to be a reflection on every little girl that looks the same that's watching.
And you know what? And thinking about Takara being, you know, at that impressionable age in high school, it really had me thinking that something was wrong with me because my body type
Mhm.
looked a lot like Takara's. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And you see other young women who come up who may have the impression that their body type is not wanted in this space. And I remember
Yeah.
working for this brand that's no longer in existence. I was the brand manager for the location in Bloomingdale's, and
I
the
remember this
reps came.
season.
You remember this one? And the reps, they came down and told the regional rep that I was the right fit for their brand because of my body size.
Mm.
And when I would get my clothing allowance each month, they would make the most snide remarks like, oh, maybe there's something in there that's oversized that you can fit or something like that because I wasn't considered their standard look and feel of what that, you know, ambassador looked like or whatever.
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me, even when I went to their shows for Fashion Week and all that other stuff. It always stuck to me that I was not their ideal pick for the role. I may have been the best at what I did, but visually I wasn't what they wanted. They wanted someone who was this big, who was a certain height, who was a certain skin tone. Because can we talk about skin tone real quick in this
Yeah.
industry? Because tell the truth, shame the devil. They love the idea of ethnicity when you can't pinpoint what it looks like,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or you're someone who's so clearly this, you can't be nothing else, and they try to box you into what that look should be
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
terms of being exotic. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I have something to say on that. But before we just
Say
bypass
say it.
your experience
Say
that
it.
you like, I remember that season of you working. And it's crazy to me that you say that because you have a good way of not coming off as like the angry brown woman. Like, I think that you handle these types of situations with grace. As my big sister, like, you've always been so encouraging, and I've seen you kind of deal with the trials and tribulations of like my skin tone, my hair, my shape. You know, my sister, she's got some booty on her, y'all. Okay, she got hips and thighs and booty. Okay, she and okay. So I will say, like, watching you, I would have never thought that you felt that way or that you felt threatened because I feel like you handled it with grace. And even though you shouldn't have to be put in those situations and compared to your counterparts that don't look like you handle it with grace. But I feel like being able to deal with those microaggressions, like, not everyone is trained to do that and to match that passive aggressiveness that we're like facing daily. So yeah, I'm ready to, as someone who has known you for 20 plus years, I've never heard you vocalize that. And I think that's a big deal because I've watched you navigate those spaces. And that's something they don't teach you. And it's hard. It's really
Mm-hmm.
hard to navigate those spaces. Someone says like a shady comment, you're like, like, you know. So flowers, flowers everywhere for you on that. And then
Thank
on the
you.
topic of ethnicity, something that really stood out to me as an Afro Latina woman was them saying production or the people, the executives at the TV, was it UPN or something like that? There
UPN,
was
yeah.
they had a Latina, don't know who this woman is.
Hmm.
They didn't want her. They got rid of her and then they found Giselle. And Giselle to me is like to the naked eye, a white Latina. There was
Right.
no, I don't know if there was ever like an Afro Latina. I'm pretty sure there was, but just like
Hmm.
any other Spanish channel, like when you see a Hispanic woman, you think of like a voluptuous woman who is super, super white, fair skin, bone straight hair. 9 times out of 10, probably, dyes it blonde. Like the J Lo, like, you know what I'm saying? That safe and big, like racially ambiguous Latina. So when they said
Hmm.
that, it stood out to me. I'm like, I wonder what this like other Spanish girl looked like that they were just so like no, no, no aggressive about. And Tyra said that she really fought for that person. But I really wish like someone would find her so we could see what she looks like and why they were so opposed to having her.
Hmm. Like an Afro Latina woman would be the most appealing because
Hmm.
you have someone who has textured hair, who has that beautiful bronze or deeper skin tone, X, Y, and Z, and you find that. And let me know if I'm speaking out of turn, but you find that a lot of Afro Latina women deal with the same trials and tribulations that Black women deal with in terms
Yeah,
of being appealing in a broader industry.
yeah,
And it doesn't make sense to me because there's so many similarities, but there's also a lot more of the appeal that sometimes Black women may not meet in those market standards in terms
yeah,
of the look that a lot of Afro Latina women do meet. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
No, yeah, I get that. And
Yeah.
I have friends from everywhere that look like everything. And I've had that conversations a lot of time. Like I don't negate pretty privilege or light skin privilege. Like I feel like I'm a like how token black men are treated. I feel like yes, I'm racially ambiguous. People never know what I am. It irritates me when people guess and try to figure it out. Like, why are you guessing? Like, just ask me. But what I will say is that I am educated. I have a strong code switch and I'm not threatening, right? Like it's like that non-threatening. She's a chameleon and can like work in executive space, right? I can deal with passive aggressiveness. I know how to address passive aggressiveness without being super angry and belligerent and giving them what
Mm-hmm.
they expect from me. But also like I'm very aware that I'm black. So it's just like, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you do grow up in a space watching shows like this where it's like I can say like going to high school, we went to high school together, right? Everybody was black and brown. There was not a lot of
Mm-hmm.
white people at our school, but I never felt like Hispanic enough for the group of Hispanic girls because they were all like more like white, indigenous, straight hair Latinas. And then I never felt black enough for like the black kids, right? Because my hair was a particular way or I wasn't dark enough. So I'm blessed to have the friend group that we had. You know what I'm saying? We were all from different places and we all looked different. But if I didn't have you guys, I feel like there was just never a place and there was never like a box I could check, which when you grow up and enter the real world works in your favor because you have like that racial ambiguity on your side.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also very aware of like the spaces that you're in and who you're surrounded by and almost forced to code switch all the time or you could easily lose your identity.
Yeah, and that also goes similar to like the top model one because a lot of times they didn't know where to place certain women who were on the show.
Yes.
They didn't know where to place people if they looked like they could be one thing or another. They have very much clear boxes then.
Yeah.
Like either you were the black girl, you were the white girl, you're Latina or whatever.
What
And then
box you
you have
checking?
people or yeah, what box you check it. And then you have people like Eva Pigford who came on the scene. She was the first even in her season, she was the most petite model out of everyone. She was 5'6". So when you think about it
Mm-hmm.
now, it's like, girl, you ain't that short. We're about the same height. But considering the fashion industry being 5'11" and up was more standard, her coming in there, being confident, walking tall, this, that, and the other, she was unconventional in her industry at the time. And it just makes me think too that when you choose to be unconventional, sometimes you find the most success because you're choosing to lean into what makes you different. And I think
Yeah.
that's what worked for Eva. And I think that's why she won as much as she did
Yeah.
after the show because she already had confidence coming into the show on Top Model. She didn't need the show to
She
make
knew
her
who she
even more
was.
confident. She
Yeah.
just needed a platform,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't realize, maybe because at the time we were like 14, 15 watching this show.
We were
I didn't,
children.
yeah, we were kids watching this. I didn't realize how young these girls were. Like they were
Yes.
18. I think a few of them might have gotten like waiver sign. They were 17. Like they were
Mhm.
so young. And there's so much pressure. And even when you think about like casting and like shows today where people are brought onto like reality television, they do like analysis of their like mental health and like
Mhm.
background checks and like all these things. Before it was like, okay, you're standing outside with 10,000 girls. Here's your number. Get in line. Walk. Okay, you in. And then that's it. You don't know if this girl has an eating disorder. You don't know if she's
Mhm.
homeless. You don't know if she's
Mhm.
crazy. You don't know if she's gonna commit suicide on the show. Like, girl, a lot of
Right.
things happen on that show that definitely
It's
I know them girls had to go through therapy for.
and also too be these were like the early days of reality TV because again I mentioned we had Project Runway, but Survivor was new, Big Brother was new,
All
shows
everything.
like Amazing Race were new. Like reality TV was considered cliche
Mhm.
then, and it wasn't something that you wanted to be on, and a lot of networks didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. So
Mhm.
Top Model even making it to UPN, which was a
Yeah.
dying network, because Tyra pitched the show to multiple networks and everyone said no. UPN said yes. So, as flawed as their formula was for this show, they were essentially the baseline to what other reality shows would use for competition series. Like
Mhm.
we all know Top Model does the whole I have one photo in my hand. And then, wait, let me do it. Let me do
I,
it. Okay. I have I have one photo in my hand, and this photo, the girl was still being running towards becoming America's Next Top Model. Bianca, you are still in the running towards becoming America's Next Top Model.
girl,
And
the drama. She said that 10 million times.
but I say all that to say like all these shows use shows like Top Model, Survivor, etc. as the blueprint for their shows.
Yeah, they
Like
did.
I even I even look now when I watch shows like let's see like Traders on NBC. Traders does that whole round table where you vote people out. That's similar to Survivor, right?
Yeah.
While Tyra is under criticism now, I will give her flowers for being one of the early trailblazers for reality
Yeah.
TV, right or wrong. She is one of the trailblazers of what we consider reality television today, and gave us a famous line: "We were rooting for you. We were all
Right.
rooting for you."
Yeah.
That
You
we
know
still
what
use to
though?
this day.
It's so interesting that maybe I didn't do my homework. I definitely like watched the documentary, watched a few episodes from old seasons. I didn't Google like have they ever had any lawsuits? Like some of
Mm.
these new like for example, Netflix and Love is Blind. That's one of my favorites.
Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead,
not
Google. Get
caught
the
up
Google
yet.
on.
I'm
Get
not
the
caught up.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
not
not
caught
gonna.
up yet.
But
Yeah.
no, I
Okay.
was just gonna say how they have to sign certain like waivers, right? NDAs, things that they're
Mhm.
agreeing to. They can't talk about things for a year till it airs, blah blah blah. But they're put in these super intimate situations, and they experience SA, and they experience different types of abuse, and they've like gotten hit with so many lawsuits. I think this
Mhm.
era of reality television was so new that I didn't hear about like America's Next Top Model getting a lot of lawsuits. And you watch the doc and you see there was a girl that was S8 and they filmed all of it.
Mhm.
Like I
Yep.
would have I would have owned that TV station. Like they gave her
So
all this
okay,
alcohol. Like it was disgusting.
I pulled up a quick Google search about top model lawsuits, and they say top model lawsuits frequently involve contractual disputes, alleged mistreatment on reality TV, or issues with agency representation.
Mm,
Notable cases include Angela Preston's $3 million lawsuit against Tyra Banks regarding her America's Next Top Model disqualification, and recent lawsuits against agencies like Wilhelmina Models. So,
mm.
her lawsuit, Angela Preston's, was in 2014. And there was another one that was filed, let's see, in 2025, where male models filed a lawsuit against Wilhelmina. So there's
I
not a
remember when
lot
they
out
brought the guys
there.
on. It's not. That's why she's
Yeah.
lucky.
It's
Because the way I would have sued the hell, there was so many lawsuits. There was so many possible lawsuits. If you watch this back, and I don't know if there's like a statute of limitation, honey, but if you hear me now and you got some claims, I will put them claims in.
So Bianca, we're coming to like the end of our discussion, which we could kiki all day long because it's just us. But we gotta be mindful of our audience's time. Watching the Netflix documentary now, what moments hit differently knowing what we know about the industry, being like industry insiders?
I definitely think cancel culture is the thing now. So the creative
Okay.
direction behind the sets and the different photo shoots for sure. Like things you could have gotten away with then, you're absolutely not going to get away with now. And what is acceptable, like being harassed on set by a male model, not acceptable. And visually, like you're stopping a shoot and bringing it to people's attention, that's not going to be acceptable. I've seen people get thrown off of set for less. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the racial profiling and some of those things unacceptable. I think a lot of it for me revolves around the themes. And it, even if you bring it to today, like a lot of these brands get closer. Like when you think of like Gucci when they had like that blackface sweater, it makes me think
Yes.
about who is at the table deciding the creative direction of campaigns, photo shoots.
Mm-hmm.
Boils down to the type of model you're going to select, the type of hair she's going to have, the type of makeup. Like I need you to do the Devil Wears Prada. Like you think you picked this blue? Like no, carefully curated every single detail, right? Every single
Yes.
carefully
Yes.
curated. And so to see some of those things and know what the culture is today, oh, that's not acceptable. You're gonna get thrown off set and you
Mm-hmm.
blacklisted. You're not gonna work in this industry ever again. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's also similar to like working on the marketing and PR side. So little things that you thought were okay before, like, telling a girl, "Oh, you're not the right size or fit for this brand." Now a lot of brands will come under fire if you don't carry more than an XL or 1XL, for the clothing, or you tell people that they're, may not be the right look for a campaign. Nowadays, you're not just hiring models to do these campaigns anymore. They're looking at content creators. They're looking at people who have different ways of reaching the industry because the traditional way has not worked the way it has in the past.
Yeah.
And marketing professionals have to be more strategic in what they do and they're building their knowledge. But it's like just knowing that, the fashion industry itself has evolved in a good direction. It's not there yet though, because I've seen a lot of setbacks when it comes to plus size models. There was a huge boom in support for plus size models, and now you hardly see any on the runway like you used to unless they're in Christian Siriano's show,
Yeah.
to be honest with
Well,
you.
well,
So
yes.
yeah, very well done. But I do see that there is a retraction back to that thin look because I've seen it now as a trend. You see more influencers who want to be, a certain size now.
Yeah.
Before it was about having a curvier body, now it's about having more of a wafer thin body. So there's a long way to go in this industry, and I know there's another doc coming out soon be about Top Model
I heard
on.
producer.
Is it E?
I'm not sure, but I don't know because Tyra produced this one, and then she dropped the bomb that she's gonna do a cycle 25. So was she just
I
here
heard that.
25? Because she didn't really say shit. She didn't say anything. She gave very much like politically correct pageant queen answers to everything that was asked of her.
Yes.
She didn't.
Yes, and I don't know if Tyra was an executive producer on this one. I think she was just being interviewed.
I don't know, but she it was not
I
good.
don't know. I'm not sure about that one, but anyway, I appreciate you for joining me for today's chat. Now, before you go, I do have some sip and spill quick fire questions to close out the episode.
Okay.
So please grab your cup. There you go. Okay.
Okay.
B, in your opinion, who is the best rapper or singer of all time?
Whitney Houston.
I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Without
No one does it like Whitney, especially that Preacher's Wife soundtrack. To this day, one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard.
Whitney, her voice. Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, I miss Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you could live in one city for a year, not Miami, Bianca, you gotta choose a different city. If you could live in one city for a year, where would it be and why?
Osaka in Japan. It's a different planet. It wouldn't even be in the States. It would be in Japan. The culture,
Okay.
people, the fashion, the food. They have 4 seasons like we do. So climate. I mean,
Okay.
it's just You gotta go. If you haven't been, you have to go. I don't know what other reason to give you, but it's a different planet over there, and it was one of the most beautiful experiences I ever had.
I've heard that a lot about Japan, that it's a very beautiful country, that it's worth the visit, that people wish they stayed longer when they went to visit,
Yes.
because it's just different in a good way.
Mhm.
Okay. It's been a long day. You've been beating faces all day long. You know, your back hurt, you tired. What is your go-to comfort food after a long day?
Cookies. I'm a cookie monster.
Ooh, what kind of cookies? What kind?
Like, I like a gourmet toasted, like salted caramel type cookie with a little bit of chocolate in there. Uh-huh. And it's not a
Do,
big
do you like a sprinkle of sea salt?
piece. I like the salt on there, girl with the sweet and the
Little salt, babe.
yeah, it has to be
Just a
soft.
little bit.
The edges are a little crunchy. Yes, gourmet cookies.
I love a
You
good,
need that with
yes,
the
like crunchy edges and then salt in the middle, like not doughy, soft,
yes.
soft. There's a difference.
Hey, don't
There's a difference.
back. I love it.
Love me a good cookie,
Sweet.
especially the one at Forestville Mall. I love them cookies. Okay. That's so PG. Okay, and if you were a coffee, what kind of coffee would you be?
My palate for coffee has evolved since the last time I've been on here
Oh,
with you. Because
her palate has evolved.
my macchiato was my go-to. But after I spent like over a month in Asia, it has to be like a brown sugar coconut latte vibe. Like,
Mm.
mm-hmm,
Ooh, okay.
not too sweet, super silky and smooth, wakes you up. Yeah,
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I'm addicted
Okay.
to it.
That sound like Delta One. That sound like a Delta One kind of drink. You know, you in Delta One, you got your blanket, your fuzzy socks,
And
and survive, whatever.
like private area,
Yes.
waiting for my flight.
Uh-huh. 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 You're
Very
not in Gen Pop.
okay.
You're not in Gen Pop. I don't like being in Gen Pop no more. I can't, like,
Mm-mm.
my God. I can't do Gen Pop
Oh.
anymore. Okay. So well, thank you so much for joining me for Coffee Bee. Where can people find out more about you and your platform where you be beating faces and tell them all the things about beauty?
Beauty in the Blazer on every platform, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Beauty in the Blazer. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely continuing to do makeup, working with different brands, and taking new clients, and looking forward to hosting new events in 2026. Mm-hmm.
Yay! So proud of you. And she my sister, y'all. She my sister. Okay. Ebony and Ivory. You don't need to know the story.
Ebony and Ivory.
You you don't need to know the story, but the story is there. The story is there.
Too many stories. Okay.
So many stories. My Lord. Let's just go circa 2000. Okay.
I'm so glad
we'll need to walk
around back then, honey. And America's Next Top Model, it should be grateful that social media wasn't around back then too. Okay?
Woo, my lord. We were America's Next Top Model, pumping in them streets with them rainbow pump, them Gusini pumps,
Them plastic,
them Gusini 2 for $20 pumps.
okay, but
Okay, them Baker's heels
in every color, neon green.
Neon, all the colors, couldn't tell me nothing. What a time for my feet too. And to everyone listening and watching, I hope you enjoyed today's chat. Don't forget to follow Coffee with Yvonne on Threads and Instagram at Coffee with Yvonne. For my personal account, you can see me cut up, be my true self. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, aka the Clock app, at Yvonne_creative marketer. To learn more about me and my business that I own, that I pay taxes on, that is copywritten and registered with the government. You can go ahead and find me on pink.housemarketing.com or on Instagram at pink.housemarketing. You can slide into my DMs. That's cool. And creatives, I'm going to say this every single week until you get it. Remember to keep showing up, keep creating, and that your voice matters. I cannot wait to chat with you soon on another episode of Coffee with Yvonne. Okay, bye!
Hey,
I love you, sis!
Just want to let you know you are still in the running.
What?
America's Next Top Model.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Coffee with Yvonne is produced and edited by Yvonne Pearson. Coffee with Yvonne is created by Pink Dollhouse Marketing. You can catch the latest episodes by subscribing to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.